All right, everybody, welcome back to yet again another 2022-2023 season preview. We move on today with the New Jersey Devils, a team who I have been kind of questionable in the past, and I am going to be questionable right now because this team, honestly, they're a good team. They have some good things coming. This is a solid team, but the problem is they're in such a competitive division that they're just gonna get held down to probably missing the playoffs again or down towards the bottom of that division. It sucks. It really does because this team has a lot of good components to it. They have a lot of good young players coming up, and really, I mean, in all honesty, they just that division is just too competitive. But anyways, last season was quite the example of that. You look at last season, they went 27, 46, and 9 for 63 points. They scored 248 goals and only let in 307, and they obviously missed the playoffs. So they didn't score with Jesper Bratt, however you want to say it, with 26 goals, 47 assists for 73 points. Definitely had a breakout year. And then your goaltender, which there was many goalies who played, it was actually a tie for the goalie who played the most games. It was 25 and 25, which is unreal. You have Nico Daws taking that credit with a 10, 11, and 1 record with a 3.11 goals against average. Yeah, it was a rough year for Devils goaltending, 100%. There was goalies that were dealt out. There were new goalies coming in. There were emergency backups at one point. It was just an all-around strange season for Anaheim, for the Devils, 100%. And I'm wondering whether or not it will really change this year, but I'm hoping it does. You look at their departures and their acquisitions, they were pretty busy this offseason, I will say that. Their departures were Pavel Zacha, PK Subban, Brendan Smith, and Jan Kuokkanen. So, obviously, there are no really eye-openers. Zacha might be one of them because he was kind of a third-line center, but now he's gone. Erik Haula's come into the equation. Subban was a liability, let's admit it. Although the Sluban thing was a trend for a while, he kind of was a liability. Brendan Smith was kind of just a depth defenseman, wasn't really... Actually, no, wait. Oh, Ty Smith. I'm sorry. Everyone's saying Nordic. Brendan Smith is on the team now. No, Ty Smith. I'm sorry. I don't know why I was thinking Brendan Smith because he's obviously one of the acquisitions. But obviously Ty Smith was dealt away in that trade. Smith looked good. He was young. Wasn't really... I mean, he honestly really didn't pan out the way the Devils may have wanted him to. I think he will in Pittsburgh, though, 100%. But obviously Smith is gone, and then Kuokkanen just kind of had to go. He kind of wasn't fitting the Devils' equation, and they had more people coming up in the roster. So obviously he's gone. You look at their acquisitions, on the other hand, you have Andre Palat, Erik Haula, John Marino, the actual Brendan Smith, and Vitek Vanacek there as well. So obviously Palat, they lost out on guys like Gaudreau and Kadri. They lost out on some big forwards out there, and obviously the only player they could lock up was Andre Palat, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Palat is obviously a really good forward for Tampa these past 3 years. Went to the Cup Finals 3 straight years in a row. Obviously, he's a very good forward. Definitely will play well with the Devils. Erik Haula kind of replaces Pavel Zacha's role, if we're being honest. Really. I mean, it really just is. He really just is going to come in and just replace his role. Then you have John Marino there as well, added to that Devils defense. That defense looks interesting heading into next season. Then you have Brendan Smith, who's a depth defenseman. And then you have Vitek Vanacek, who's likely going to be... the Hockey News has him listed as a backup goaltender, but I could see him becoming potentially maybe a starter if Blackwood doesn't do so well right out of the gate. But we'll see what happens there, obviously. Anyways, you look at the Devils' projected lineup. You have Andre Palat, Jack Hughes, and Jesper Bratt as your first line. Then you have Yegor Sharangovich, Nico Hischier, and Dawson Mercer as your second line. Obviously, a really solid top six. I like that top six a lot. Palat, Hughes, and Bratt, obviously a really good first line, electric, very good offense there. Mercer obviously is heading into a sophomore year, so hopefully praying on that no sophomore slump comes. He will definitely do well with New Jersey. Obviously there, I mean, this is a good group of guys, definitely. I like that center core. They're suddenly really deep down the middle, and I like that a lot for New Jersey, 100%. But their top six overall looks really good. Their bottom six, Miles Wood, Erik Haula, Thomas Tatar, Andreas Janssen, Michael McLeod. Wait, no. I think it's Michael McLeod. I don't know why I was thinking Ryan McLeod, but no, he's on the Oilers. And then Alexander Holtz. It's been a long day, people. I'm struggling. Then you have Tice Thompson, Jesper Boquist, and then you have Nate Bastian as an extra forwards there as well. So obviously they got some players who can come in and fill in. Obviously, Boquist is a solid depth center, and then Bastion as well. But I like that bottom 6-2 as a whole. Definitely decently young. Miles Wood obviously preying on a bounce back year as he only played 3 games last season. So obviously he's going to try and bounce back. Eric Holla acquired in that trade. Obviously is going to probably play that third line center role, and just overall some solid guys there. Alexander Holtz is interesting. Holtz could really play out this Devils lineup, and honestly, you could argue him being a third line forward and not a fourth line guy. I just have it as the Hockey News has it. I think that Holtz could very well, if he starts off hot like he did down in Utica, I definitely think he will be able to maybe overtake and go up in the ranks and probably play. I mean, it really depends because they really are good on that left wing side. So we'll see what Holtz can do with the New Jersey Devils. You look at their defense there, you have Ryan Graves and Dougie Hamilton as your first pairing. Then you have Jonas Siegenthaler and John Marino as your second pairing. Then you have Brendan Smith this time, and Damon Severson, and then you have Simone Nemec as an extra defenseman. He was actually listed on the cap-friendly depth chart, so I don't know if he'll play out of the gate, but I think he may play as the season comes along and it rolls in. But I think that Nemec, he's probably not going to play right off the bat, but we'll see where he fits in. But obviously, a very interesting defense. You have a Graves and Hamilton first pairing, very solid, 2 solid defensemen there. Siegenthaler, I've been criticizing him in the past. He's actually a really underrated defenseman now. Devils fans have been telling me that for a long time. Then obviously there, John Marino there as well, probably a solid second pairing defender, new acquisition, and that third pairing isn't all too bad either. So they do have a good defense. I think they are very deep down below, and I like it a lot. And we'll see how that does come the season. As obviously your goaltending team, which I think is the most important thing for New Jersey heading into this season, is Blackwood and Vanacek as your tandem, and then you have Jonathan Bernier as a third-string goaltender. I would imagine maybe Bernier gets traded to another team. Maybe he wants to be with some other team and get maybe a backup or a starter role. I don't think it's really going to fly with Bernier being the third string, but obviously there we shall see. Your biggest questions for the New Jersey Devils: will the goaltending bounce back? And that is kind of what I touched base with. It's touch and go. For me, it's touch and go because I think Blackwood, if he can start off hot, he can do good throughout the season. But, Vanacek as well, we'll see how he does filtering in with the Devils' defense. It's obviously way different than Washington's defense, so we'll see what happens there. But if they don't do too well, they are kind of deep goalie-wise. They have Dawes, who looked solid. Then you also have Bernier as well. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens there for New Jersey. And then the other question is, do they take the next step? Now, this is kind of referring to what I said at the beginning of the video. It sucks because, the Devils are a good up-and-coming young team, but they're in a division that is also good and upcoming and also very, very competitive. So we'll see what the Devils can do. Can they take the next step? I think they can, but I think they're really going to have to prey on some of the teams above them like Washington, Pittsburgh, just some examples to really just start falling off, and maybe they have a freak injury or something bad happens to one of those teams and the Devils can rise up and take that spot. But obviously they're the Devils' interesting team nonetheless. You look at their point-o-meter, aka their point projection according to the Hockey News' fantasy guide. Here you have Jack Hughes leading the way with 84 points, rightfully so. He should be the team's leading scorer next season. Jesper Bratt there as well in second with 73. Then you have Nico Hischier in third with 57. Then Sharon Govich in fourth with 54. And then Dawson Mercer in fifth with 50. Now, Hughes kind of already had a breakout season last year, but I am betting that Hughes is going to have a much better season this coming year. So I definitely think that he probably could put up 84, 85 points, definitely in that range, but I think he could go as high as 90. And I think that Hughes could very well do that, and that might be placing him too high, but I think Hughes is that good of a center and really could break out this coming year. And we'll stop hearing the rumors of, bust. That'll finally be done. But anyways, moving on to their cup odds. Their cup odds are 60-1. And I think that's kind of a accurate answer there because obviously the Devils team, they're not going to be a cup contender yet. And I don't think they really will. They might not even make the playoffs with that competitive division. But anyways, here reading off the brass, with 1 year left on his contract, Lindy Ruff faces a make-or-break season behind the bench. The Devils have gone 46, 76, and 16 during his 2 seasons in charge. And while the team has improved, expectations were higher than the third worst total in the Eastern Conference. With 782 career wins, Ruffleberg gets tied with the Hall of Fame record Al Arbor for 5th in the NHL's all-time coaching wins list upon his next victory. Nevertheless, he starts the 22-23 season on the hot seat. And I 100% agree with that. Definitely, because I think if the Devils have a really bad season like they did this past year, if they have a season where they're like, let's say they're like 41, well, not 41, but like 39 and like 42 or something like that. I know that's not what it's going to be. Some record that's like almost 500, that's pretty close. And maybe they just miss out on the playoffs. Maybe they're a really good team. Maybe they get a lot of wins. Maybe they beat those teams in their division, but they just can't get into the playoffs. I don't think he gets fired then. He might. I mean, honestly, I think right now, I think maybe if I know I'm struggling to speak, but I think what could happen is that maybe if they don't make the playoffs, maybe Lindy Ruff goes. Maybe they realize Lindy Ruff may be the problem, and maybe that's what happens. Maybe Lindy Ruff is on his way out. I know I just said Lindy Ruff like 800 times, but maybe Lindy Ruff will be on the hot seat. And I think he definitely is right now, and I think if the Devils get off to a bad start, we could see Ruff get fired. It's definitely possible. But anyways, the question is now, do they make the playoffs? And I've said this before, and I said it multiple times in this video. The thing is with the Devils is that they have a good team. They have a good structured team. They have some good guys coming up. They may not make it this year, but they will make it in the future. And the thing is, with that competitive division, it's kind of difficult because, I mean, really, this team has some solid attributes to it. They look pretty solid, and it sucks because, they are in such a competitive division that they're going to miss out, that they're likely going to miss out. So I'm going to say maybe like I did last year in 2021. I said no, by the way. I think I'm going to say maybe again this year. If this team can take a even bigger step up from this past season, I will be very happy. And I think that then definitely they will make the playoffs in 23-24. But obviously, we got a whole season to come. Maybe they surprise us. Maybe they don't. We shall see. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching. For Why Sports Later, really do appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe down below if you are new. And anyways, thank you all very much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.